Hey guys, I'm here today with Sheena. She has a great YouTube channel. She recently surpassed the 1,000 subs mark. So she achieved something quite great there, and she's been at the YouTube channel biz for years. Basically, she's been trying to work on that and get her subs up and her watch hours up, so she become monetized. So the reason why I wanted to bring her on today was to talk to her specifically about her diet and her weight loss journey. So, would you like to introduce yourself and say how you've got to where you are now?
Sure. Hello, everyone. It's very great to meet everybody. My name is Sheena. I'm Sheena. My channel's name is Sheena's Ketovore Life. And how I all began was the first person I started out with was watching keto videos, and my health was so horrible. I was desperate to try to heal myself. So I started researching and trying to figure out any way I possibly could to try to heal my body naturally. I have autoimmune lupus. I always had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. They always tried to put me on statins, and I refused the statins. The autoimmune was eating me inside out, basically. It attacked my widowmaker, and I did have a heart attack 2 years ago. And so my widowmaker is 50%, but with autoimmune, I'm hoping that, and pretty much the cardiologist said he considers me recovered because with autoimmune, your body is so amazing at healing itself. It does reroute your blood vessels. So whenever he said that to me, I said, that's fine. I'm pretty sure that my heart will reroute itself. And he said, you could be right. And I said, well, that's what happened to my dad. And so I knew that if I was going to live, I was going to have to change a lot of things because the standard American diet was making me more and more ill every time I ate. I absolutely felt horrible. And so I was like, there's got to be something that I can change to make this better. So I herniated the disc in my back. I had to have surgery on my L5S1. I've also had two hernia surgeries in my abdomen. I had one softball sized tumor removed from my abdomen from a bad C-section. And so I have literally been through the ringer. And so I was like, I've got to do something because at that point I was doing less than 30 steps a day. If I hadn't had upper muscle to be able to help assist myself to stand and stuff, my core was so weak I wouldn't have been able to do it. And so basically, I went on this. My doctors wouldn't basically help me. They would give me more medicine, more medicine. I was a chronic pain patient for 7 years on some major, major pain medication. And I got tired of giving them all my money. They weren't helping me. They weren't treating me. They were just handing me these pharmaceuticals. So I decided to take it upon myself. And, when you can't work, money's tight. You couldn't afford to hire somebody special to help you. So I would basically listen to different YouTube channels. I would research as much as I could, go to medical case studies, see what I could find out. And that's what landed me basically on the keto diet. So I started the keto diet, and it took them 7 years to diagnose my lupus. So I found out real fast that I still didn't feel good on keto because the nut flours and the nuts were destroying me. They were tearing me up, and I didn't know what was happening. I still felt horrible. I was so inflamed. I had so much, a lot of the weight was inflammation, and I was in so much pain. And it was like, this is not how life's supposed to be. And I decided that, come hell or high water, I wasn't giving up. I was going to do the best that I can to reach my goals and to heal my health because I know the body's amazing and the body can heal itself. It is, that's how it was made. And so I decided that, I've really got to change this. So I went from the keto to carnivore, to carnivore for 2 years, just eating salt. I got rid of my coffee. I got rid of everything except for water,
Sorry, Sheena,
salt,
you
and
just ate salt.
I went,
You just said you just eat salt.
oh, okay. I like salt. Sorry. I do eat salt, but cut. Okay. So I went to the carnivore diet and I cut everything out except for what you made fun. Okay, cut. So I went to the carnivore diet and I cut out everything except for meat, salt, is the seasoning, and water. I stuck with that. because I wanted to see if it would make a difference. I was basically doing an elimination diet. So I started doing that. And at first, I didn't feel great. The extra fat, I mean, I was already pretty much used to the fat from all the coconut that I was eating on the keto. And so I was pretty much immaculated, whatever word it is, to being able to eat the fat. And so, but that fat, it was totally different because man, I don't have a gallbladder. They said it didn't work 100% and they just decided to remove it. It didn't bother me, but they removed it. And so, but now that I think back, the whole reason it didn't work is because I didn't eat fat, and now if I'd only known. But so basically I went to the carnivore diet, and I started after about 2 or 3 months. I had so much damage in my body. Of course, it was going to take forever for anything to work because my body just didn't respond well. And so as I kept going, I started feeling better and better and better. The autoimmune, the rashes, and a lot of the just terrible feeling, the joint pains. I mean, because I used to wake up and be like, I would ask my doctor to amputate my arms and my legs. They hurt so bad. And he would just laugh at me like I was kidding. And I'm like, dude, I'm not kidding. This is terrible. And he's like, well, here's some more medicine. And it didn't fix anything. So I just kept on, people would say, well, eat more fat. That'll help you heal. So I'd eat more fat, but I didn't feel optimal with the fat. I don't know why. Still to this day, I cut down on my fat. But when I feel like I need a refeed on the fat, like I did this morning, I will eat extra. So I kept doing the carnivore, and in between I was like, my stomach just don't feel right. So then I went on the GAPS diet for a few months, just doing the meat broth because histamines affect my autoimmune at that time. And so I did the GAPS, and I started feeling better. It was like, wow, I really like this. But, it wasn't a sustainable diet. It really isn't for something for you to stay on long term. You heal yourself, you move on. So I went back to carnivore, and the better I felt. Well, everybody knows that when you feel great, the next thing you do is you want to start re-adding things back to your diet. And so that's what I did. I was like, I'm not going to be carnivore anymore. Keto's 20 carbs or less, and carnivore is no carbs. So I'm going to be ketovore. I'm going to do 10 carbs because if I get too high on the carbs, then I start to have flares. And so that's what I did. I started ketovore, and basically that's because I eat spices and I do eat some sauces, and every now and then I'll have a dirty little cream in my coffee. But for the most part, that's what I have stuck to. Um, my autoimmune went into remission unless stress gets me. If stress gets me, then that's a whole nother story. But that's not because of the food that I eat. But I thrive on beef. I pretty much eat all beef. And I'm okay with that because you learn real fast that when you eat something you're not supposed to and it flares you up and you feel like total crap for a week waiting for this to work its way out of your body, it's just not worth it. I like feeling optimal, and the only way I can do that is by eating meat. And so I did find Bart K. I started watching Bart K. He actually, I mean, he's so brilliant. And sometimes I didn't understand because I'm not a scientist, but I listened to what he had to say, and he made a lot of sense to me. And I do appreciate listening him doing the podcast and all that. It helps a lot, as well as everyone else that has contributed to this way of eating, because it changed my life. And without people like you, Jonathan, this would have never happened for me. So, getting the word out is so important. It can be the meaning of life or death. I mean, it changed my life. It gave me my life back.
Yeah, that's amazing, Sheena. I mean, the fact is it fair to say you put lupus into remission?
Yes, I also went from 330 pounds to 182, and I want to build back muscle. I definitely want my muscle back.
Yes, you've lost over 100 pounds as well. I don't know why you didn't say that sooner.
It's
Uh,
amazing.
yeah, it is amazing. Honestly, like the people watching this understand Sheena's someone that has had, terrible health issues, like truly awful health experiences, and she's, like you said, she's been through the mill trying to sort it all out. She's landed on the carnivore diet, funny enough. That's just where she's stuck to. And the thing is, while she is in a way somewhat restrictive, as in she doesn't eat, Pop Tarts and Krispy Kremes, whatever. She is, however, living a much better life than what she was when she was including those foods. So it's a fine balance, and you got to weigh out: do you really want that donut, or do you rather just rather live and wake up each day feeling 10 times better than you did the day before eating the donut? So that's an example here of where the carnivore diet really does thrive in it. If you can stick to it, it really will give you the results you want. I wanted
I'm
to ask,
off. I'm off of all 13 medications that I was on.
wow, what were you on?
Oh my gosh, I was on Plavix for my heart. I was on a blood thinner as well. I was also on a end of life drug for heart chest pain. I also had nitroglycerin in case I needed it. I also had two blood pressure medications, 80 milligrams of potassium because they told me I had heart failure. I was also on a huge Lasix twice a day. That was 40 milligrams per pill, and so I was definitely not in 80 milligrams on the Lasix is what it was, 80 milligrams. So it wasn't good. I felt, and I was allergic to the binders and the medication, which would cause my lupus to flare up as well. And then I was on are you ready for this? I was on the patch, fentanyl. I was also on Percocet. So the fentanyl was a patch that I wore for 24-hour, and then the Percocet was for breakthrough pain for my lupus, my back, and everything else, the inflammation basically. And then they would switch me around from that to Oxycontin and Percocet. It was a disaster. It was a freaking disaster. The day that I was able to never go back again was the best day of my life. And I felt so freed. I was free, totally free. No more medicine. I didn't need it to move. And that's an amazing feeling when you were taking that crap for 7 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you're as someone who's a bit older than me, I can say you're a lot fitter than I am. One thing that I find amazing is how you're doing all this activity with a faulty heart, essentially,
Yeah.
and you're doing it on a carnivore diet. And you're a bit older than me, so it is really inspiring. I mean, I'm not just inspired by like the fit muscular people in the gym or in the magazines. I'm inspired by the people that have made a massive difference to their life. People that have lost 100 pounds like Sheena, people that have put their health issues into remission. I find that just incredible. That's one reason I wanted to bring on today. And the next thing I wanted to ask you about was specifically your your exercise activities. So you do some like essentially like running on the camera, like walking on camera, hiking. Um, do you feel that you do that for a sense of accountability? Because I mean, you put it on your live stream, and people can obviously see that you're doing your exercise and you talk to people. Does it make it easier for you?
Yes, it does. Accountability one, when I started this page, I was like, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to live, because it's like, you have to weigh what's important to you. It's like pick your poison. You can either work hard and live, or you can die miserably. And I chose to live. So I decided to start my channel, even though when I first started my channel, it was hard because I felt so horrible to even do the videos. But I still went on and did them because I wanted to. I was like, I am not going to. This is not going to beat me. And so I kept going. I wanted to be an example, and I thought, eventually I'll get there because I'm tough and I don't give up. And if I don't make it, then I got documentation that at least I tried. And so I just kept going, kept going. I started off at 30 steps and walking in place because not everybody has a treadmill. Not everybody can get out, especially elderly, when it's cold or it's raining. I wanted to show people you don't have to lose muscle mass. You can stand in place and walk. And I wanted to use that as an example on dropping my weight, because when I finally get to the end and do a body reveal, which I'm really excited about, I want to show them anybody can do it. Never give up hope. But I started out at 30 steps, worked my way up to 500 steps, then went to 5,000 steps, and now over 10,000. But I usually try to stick at 10,000 and I try to stay, try not to sprint, but sometimes I get excited because you take life for granted when you're stuck in a chair. You really do. Before that, you could have done all this stuff and you didn't. And so then when you get in that situation, you realize I really took life for granted and it didn't have to be this way. And look at that guy laughing and he could be enjoying his life and it really makes you think. So now I live every day the best possible life I can live. And I don't take the little things for granted because life's amazing, it's beautiful, and it's what you make it. You have to make it your very best. And that starts with what you put in your body, what goes in your mouth. That's something I learned, and I'll never veer from this because when I get that silly idea that I'm normal and I do veer off, you better believe I am right back because it will make me so ill. It's just not worth it because all those chemicals in that food, and it's horrible. It's not even food. It's food like products.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. I'm in awe of what you've just said. Um, you really do have the heart of a lion, it seems like. You're very tenacious. I mean, you're not letting things get you down and worry about, the little things. Just focus on all the good little things you have in life and making the most joy out of what you have. And that's partly why I try and attend your live streams because I see someone here, trying to better themselves, promoting good health. I mean, what more could I find as inspiration? There's nothing much more than that, I don't think. And it's great that we have this online community where we can talk to each other and exchange ideas. Because yeah, we anyone can sort of pull up a study on a different diet and say, "Oh, this works well," or "This exercise is best," or whatever. But you're seeing firsthand what someone can do with their living room, essentially.
Anything works in a deficit. That's just it. But is it improving your health? And that's what I found is, yeah, I could lose weight in a deficit, but I wasn't healing my body. It required the amino acids in that meat and all them vitamins in that nutrition. That's what healed me. That's what cured the inside of my body. And it wasn't a fast trip. I mean, this has been going on for almost 6 years now. So it was not fast, but it can work for you. It really can work for you, but you have to be willing to discipline yourself and be diligent about the things you're putting in your mouth. And that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is. It really is.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just touching on something you mentioned earlier about stress. So, with your overall sense of well-being, how much of it would you say, if you had to put a number on it or percentage, was through reducing stress versus improving your diet?
Well, the diet itself improved the stress because my mind became more clear and I was able to think like I used to. When I didn't have the inflammation, I was always witty. And when I got the inflammation from just the horrible diet, it was like I couldn't think. And after being on the carnivore diet, eating the meat, the depression, the sadness of, am I going to get through this? Am I just wasting my time? All of that started melting away because I started doing just a little bit at a time and exerting myself, because just exerting yourself helps a lot with your mental thoughts. And so that's what I started doing, was meditating, eating good food, and the depression, it left and I became myself. I had lost myself for a while because you tend to lose yourself when you don't have a good support system. That's the cool thing about the carnivore people. They are a support system, and they were there for me. Yes, it may have been in a chat or whatever, but they cared. And that makes a big difference on hitting your goals when you have people that believe in you, because you don't always believe in yourself all the time. When you have that kind of people in your life, it's amazing. And they're not hateful about it. They're like, you might want to reconsider eating that. It's because they love you, and most of them have been in the same situation. And so they understand how important it is to keep your body, in remission, so you don't have that inflammation, so you don't go through that hell that you do when you have physical issues.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, when you go into these online forums and you see the people on like the carnivore groups, whatever, you got to think they've fallen into that sort of way of eating as a result of the bad health that they've acquired. In a lot of cases, the people on those groups are extremely unhealthy. Myself, I mean, I'm not suffering extremely in that regard, but I do have quite a few niggling things where I think, well, this could benefit this here, and, so on. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm seeing more and more now, people start up their own YouTube channels, sort of contribute more in a group, and sort of sending super chats to people, just supporting what people do, because
Mhm.
a lot of people give so much value. Like you mentioned Bart K earlier. I mean, I love his videos. Like every one of them, I click like before I even see it. Even if I don't see it, I still click like.
Right.
So just goes to show. And basically, the last thing I wanted to ask you was, what was your plan for your YouTube channel? Maybe a short-term goal and a long-term goal.
Well, the cool thing about my YouTube channel is that um, when I started homesteading and raising my own sheep, growing my own garden, which now I realize, I pretty much had to cut all of that out of my life, and I'm okay with that. If other people choose to eat it and they're okay with it, then I can give it to them, but I can still enjoy myself in the meantime. It's just basically a backup plan. But where I plan on going, and this is what I tell people, if I hadn't changed my diet, if I hadn't changed my life, I wouldn't have a homestead. I wouldn't be able to take care of 3 acres. I wouldn't be able to do anything at all without help. If, like in a survival situation, how are you? I mean, I would have had to been the zombie person that sits there and trips the people, I mean, how can you actually do anything if you're not healthy? And so that's why it was like, it's very important for me and my health to get better so that I can be a participant in this life and encourage people, because it's really tough in this world. There are a lot of not so nice people, and if I can encourage somebody and give them hope, then I'm all about it. And that's what my channel is about. It's about bringing knowledge, hope, and just enjoying life. You don't get one extra day from stress. It doesn't change anything. So my best advice is enjoy every day as if it was your last, and be blessed, because that can all change in a blink of an eye, honestly. But I'm just going to keep going, keep exercising. I want to reveal what I look like after 3 C-sections and all those surgeries. And I'm not ashamed of my body. I never have been, even when I was overweight. And so I want people to know that not everybody has those swimsuit bodies. I never wanted to be that girl. I wanted to be muscular. I would like to be a bodybuilder chick, to be honest with you. Maybe I can hire Jonathan if he has time. He's a busy man. But it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, people that start this diet come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, I've spoken to you. You were, was it 300 plus pounds? I've spoken to a deck from the Steak and Butter gang. She was stick thin anorexic.
Mhm.
Who would have known you can regulate your body weight by eating a species specific diet? It's amazing, really.
It
S-
is.
so how can people find you if you want to be found?
You can find me at Sheena's Ketovore Life. I'm on YouTube. You can plug me in. I'll pop right up. And my email's on there. My email is Sheena's Ketovore Life at gmail.com. And you're welcome to come hang out with us. We talk about diet, we laugh, we kick back, we de-stress, because everybody knows stress causes cortisol. Cortisol is belly fat. So we just laugh and have a good time. We really do. And if somebody has a question, and most of the time when I'm doing my life, I am walking in place or I'm on the elliptical, I have gotten so many emails. It's so encouraging to, especially the elderly people, that I didn't realize I could do that. And I'm like, well, get a chair in front of you to hold on to assist you, you standing, don't put yourself in danger whatsoever. I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving advice. This is my weight loss journey, my health journey, and I want people to have hope. That's my thing.
Wow, thank you so much for coming on.
You're amazing, Jonathan. I appreciate you. You're doing a wonderful thing.
Cheers.